What are you doing with that man? What are you doing with that man? What are you doing? That's enough, I
said. Your people want this kind of scene.
I'd like to tell you, sir, we acted completely and totally unconstitutionally. We saw the Speaker yesterday and gave him notice. And what did the Speaker say? The Speaker said he was the servant of the executive and would not protect minorities in the House.
Isn't this
so
the kind of chaos, Mr. Pearson,
if he's
that you want
prepared,
to see provoked?
just a minute, don't you be putting words into my mouth. I have made my statement. I have made my protest. I was totally in order. And let me tell you this. Go down and photograph the bayonets of the British Army. 1,000 army men. And if that, sir, is the sort of thing you think you'll get democracy in Northern Ireland, get you back to England.
To see this place surrounded like a fortress, you think the communists were coming here.
It's a communist state. Let me tell you this. We have tried to keep the people off the street, and we have tried to make them support the RUC. But when they see what has taken place in this house today, I can tell you this, that I never in my life will try and defend the RUC. Because you are no good, you're only puppets for Whitelaw and the rest of them Comanches and Westminster.
We on public platforms have defended them over the country. Barney, that isn't inflammable.
Turn the ladder. Burn Faulkner first. And then get set.
There goes the Lundies.
Burn them now. Faulkner's out first.
Here goes Jack.
March 1974. Protestants demonstrate against Sunningdale at Stormont. At the general election, every MP but one returned to Westminster by Northern Ireland opposed Sunningdale. Protestants were adamant.
What have the people of Ulster said? They have said, first of all, to Mr. Faulkner and his cronies, we want nothing to do with enforced power sharing in any undemocratic government in Stormont. And they have said, with a voice of authority, Mr. Faulkner, that time has come for you to go.
May 1974. Loyalist workers take to the streets. Protestant barricades are thrown up. When Sunningdale was ratified by the Assembly, Protestant workers replied with a strike. It was devised by the UDA with the help of shop stewards in key industries and directed by the Ulster Workers' Council. Its strategy was masterly and simple, to halt the life of the province. Industrial action in the oil depots starved the province of fuel. Electricity output was run down to a critical level. Industry was paralyzed. The workers were confronting Merlin Rees, Secretary of State for Northern Ireland in the new Labour government.
I made it abundantly clear that I was not prepared to negotiate with political strikers, just as I'd made it clear that I was not prepared to be bombed to the table, to the conference table. I was not prepared to be struck to the conference table.
Mr. Rees and the British government are going to have to come to grips with the task. They are going to have to, whether they accept it or not, they are going to have to accept the situation that the will of the Ulster people has got to be heard.
Picketing was organized. The strike was virtually complete. The economic life of the province ground to a standstill. For 13 days, the government did little. The army stood by and watched as the UDA themselves organized essential services in the province. Then Rees, in an attempt to break the strike, sent the troops to commandeer the oil depots to ensure fuel supplies. The Ulster Workers' Council considered its position. That afternoon, as the British Army was seen to take over petrol stations, it announced that it was withdrawing those few Protestant workers still maintaining essential services. The army was to be left to run the province.
Consequence of the government decision in using troops to subvert the stoppage, the council have agreed that bread and milk supplies will be the responsibility of the army, as and from midnight on Tuesday 27th. On electricity supplies, by midnight tonight, Ballylongford Power Station will be closed. The UWC will agree to one final delivery of feedstuffs on Tuesday. Thereafter, the Army must shoulder this burden.
The Army simply could not run and maintain all essential services in the province. Life itself was threatened. Rees still refused to negotiate. But Faulkner's position was becoming untenable. The strike had clearly demonstrated that his acceptance of power sharing had little support among Protestants. On the 28th of May, he saw Rees.
I recommended this morning, on behalf of myself and my Unionist colleagues, that some sort of dialogue between government and those confronting it should now take place. But the Secretary of State was unable to accept this recommendation. We have therefore offered our resignations to the Secretary of State and have advised him to explore at once the possibility of constructing a new administration on a basis which will command general public confidence.
My general view is this, that the Sunningdale and power sharing, which was set up by the previous administration, was a magnificent concept which I supported, and as a result of the elections on February 28th, which weakened the situation, coming up to this strike, there's no doubt that there's been a severe setback in that concept of getting the two parts of the community to work together to power share.
As Asquith had underestimated Carson in 1912, so Rees misread the Protestant resolve of 1974. Their defeat of power sharing and the Council of Ireland showed that their resolve had not diminished in more than half a century. The British way, the subtly balanced compromise, would not work in Northern Ireland. The divisions were too deeply felt to be accommodated by diplomacy. Sunningdale marks the last major political attempt to solve the Northern Ireland problem.
Basically, I think it's a constitutional problem, still. It is not a religious problem. People sometimes behave as if it were. It's true that religion is the shibboleth, if you like. Religion is what divides the party, so that you know your enemy and you know your friends. But it is not a war, it's not a dispute about religion. Not in the sense, at any rate, that people often understand it outside Northern Ireland.
At the present time, you have traditionally 1/3 of the population, which is Roman Catholic, who, generally speaking, give their allegiance to Dublin and Dáil Éireann, and the 2/3 of the population being Protestant, who give their allegiance to the United Kingdom and the British Parliament and the Crown. And ne'er the twain shall meet, because there are just two issues that there can be no agreement for either one side or the other side on these issues.
Within days, Rees was meeting politicians again, seeking new solutions along old lines. More talks, new initiatives, fresh elections.
The people today have the chance to put their numbers on paper. That's the important thing. It's election day.
Can I ask you what your plans are for the rest of the day?
I'm going around the polling booth with Mr. Neave from Westminster.
But the problem remains. Each side needs, in principle, what the other side cannot concede in principle.
Morning. How are you all?
Roy Mason,
Thank you. Good morning.
Secretary of State in the Labour government.
What's the purpose of this exercise, Mr. Mason?
It's part of my usual operations of seeing and being seen.
Tough security and economic development. Another initiative. Little progress.